I'm gonna get back to that story, Sonny. Just, just you listen to Boomer Great One. He's gonna tell you about how it was back in the olden days, back before fire, back when we walked uphill for everything. In fact, we didn't even have a concept of downhill because there was no downhill. Everything was uphill. We thought that was normal. We didn't even have a word for it because there was no alternative. It was uphill all the time. You just need to reach down and grab yourselves by your bootstraps and pull yourselves up, Sonny. Because when I was your age, I bought a house for $25,000. And I made that money on my paper route and bussing tables at the local cafe. And if I could do it, you can do it too. You just need to reach down and pull yourself up and just buckle up there, buckaroo. God, I hate boomers.
So in my little nerdy world of the interwebs that I go and I lurk, a story that has repeated itself a million times before is repeating itself again. That story being woke content, in this case a video game, has been made. It's shit because they put politics of the people and the employees first and who they hired. You hired talentless or lower talent people than you did. I don't even mean in a DEI sense, but if you hire political people first, then maybe we get around to talent. The actual quality of your video game is going to suffer. So, but this was a big studio, big video game studio, BioWare. They came out with just this woke piece of garbage. The gameplay, based on everyone's review, is kind of average or tolerable. But if you've heard it in normie world, this is where you can have your trans surgery scars put on your character. That's that kind of shit. And the same old tiring song. Video game movie studio lost all the original people who made The Good Thing. Now going on the brand name and the IP for momentum. Inferior, lesser talented political activists hired in shell with same name and logo as previous company. Make inferior woke piece of shit. Studios and corpos where I'm not too sure about that. They're going to be quite inconsequential to my solutions part of this video. Still fund it. Maybe they're co-opted. Maybe the managerial class, MBA bros and broettes, like, we need vagina and diversity. Oh my God. Everyone knows it's going to be a pile of shit. Somewhere between 150 to maybe 250 and money was spent on this video game. Years of development. And it releases and launches to numbers that will not make it profitable thus far. And whether it was Concord or Star Wars, or in this case, the new game is called Dragon Age Veilguard. Borderlands 4 is going to be the same. Ghost of Yotai is going to be the same. It's not going to sell in the amount that it's needed. And then the step that I don't understand, the underpants gnome strategy, step 2, is pay video game journalists in this case, but media journalists, to lie and say how great the video game is, which I don't get because people are going to find out. And if you look at in this particular case, video game journalists, or you can say media journalists, no one believes them anymore. These companies may have had some poll 15 years ago, but people are going to people like me or people who are more active in reviewing these video games and movies. And so here we are, and there's another big kerfuffle. It's all very entertaining. I like, look, you want to see a silver lining to this woke cloud? Go watch all these people get laid off and fired when they shut down studios. It's great. Sony took a $400 million hit on a video game. They shut the studio down, and now they're all unemployed, which I don't get. Well, I'm like, what? Like, don't you not? I'm gonna really, it's no different than if I were to go up and just punch a guy. I got a guy in poker. This guy's jacked, man. This is the last guy you want to fuck with. The guy works concrete. He's just this pissed off biker. He's angrier than I am. And he's huge and he's made of pure stone. It is no different than if I went up to this guy and punched him right in the face and then expected nothing to happen. Matter of fact, I should wait till he's drunk and pissed off and then punch him in his face. And then I'm just like, and I'm going to make money off of this. Never understood that part, but it's entertaining to watch the big concrete man beat the shit out of the smarmy attitude, dipshit guy. And that's what happens. So if you want you want to see leftists get their just desserts, I can't recommend enough to tune in and watch what's happening in movies and video games, because all these wokies, all these wannabes, all these LARPers are just getting destroyed. But it has come to the point now where we can keep watching the movie. You know, we can watch Fast and the Furious 27 and woke, talentless hacks make shitty video game and all get fired, you know, the sequel. But let me speak to the software developers, because in combination with a tech bubble bursting, in combination with higher interest rates, there is a tech recession. And in combination with your industry just making shit products, there's a group of people who are getting laid off, and generation of workers who are in the video game content creation industry who are looking for like, oh shit, and they lost their jobs. They can't find new jobs. And in my personal interest is I would like to have fun. Now, I'm going to have fun every which way I can get it, right? If you're going to make video games and movies so bad that Gen Z kids are going outside and playing instead of watching their screens, that's fine. We'll find something else to do. I can hike all day. I got a ton of old classic Asian films that I'm going to watch. I mean, obviously subtitled. But if you don't want to make quality good video games, movies, and fun, that's fine. But if you would like to have a career in that, you software developers are going to have to come to the same conclusion I did about working in the United States in general. And this goes outside. This would apply to pretty much everyone, but especially software developers. You're going to have to become self-employed. That's just it. You're going to have to become self-employed, because for whatever reason, your main employers have all been co-opted by ESG and DEI and politics. And whether you realize it or not, I don't know if you get past step 2 of the underpants gnome strategy here, but if your products don't make money, y'all get fired. And the paradox that you don't seem to get, the riddle you can't seem to solve is, but if I'm not woke, if I don't go along with it, they're going to fire me. You're going to get fired anyway. I understand if you're just looking for a temporary thing and like you're a contractor, by all means, be a contractor for these idiot companies. Well, what, Ubisoft? They're about to, what is it? There's 40,000. It's a way bigger company than I thought. There's tens of thousands of people that are going to be unemployed because no one stood up to the woke bitches and whoas and said, fuck out of here. And that may not be your job. That may not be your job as a software developer. You're like, well, that's the finance guys or the leadership guys or the managerial guys. Yeah, that should be, but we don't live in should land. And if your leadership has been co-opted by vampires who come in and are invited into your firm and destroy, like I think Concord took 8 years to develop, destroy all that work. Yes, you as a software developer, you need to tell these companies to fuck off. You need to tell DEI to fuck off. And if you don't know, everyone knows who Elon Musk is in the thumbnail. You don't know, the gal there is called Kim Belair. Look her up. She runs this company called Sweet Baby. It's not a real let me give you an example. Okay, let me give you an example. Let's say Cappy runs an oil company, right? Pretty straightforward. I mean, in terms of the product I'm providing, I go dig holes in the ground. I pull up the raw oil. I refine it and I transport it to gas stations and you buy the gas, right? It's a commodity. There should be no politics involved. Up comes a company and saying, well, you need diversity consultants. And at that point, it is up to the president and CEO and managerial class and group to say, fuck out of here. We don't need diversity and nonprofits or whatever. Get the fuck out of here. We dig holes in the ground. We pull up the black sludge. We refine it and you drive your car. Shut the fuck up. We don't need you. You're an unnecessary expense. But for whatever reason, this cancer, this virus, and that's what Sweet Baby and these type of consultants are. They got in there. They established a beachhead. They got an infection. They infected these companies. And what Sweet Baby, among other diversity consultants, do is say, we'll make it that you have a. They're not even programmers. They call themselves narrative consultants. We're going to help your story. No. And at that point, the main guy or gal should have said, no, we don't need that. We're fine. We're good to go. We don't need you. You're an unnecessary expense. And on top of it's like, we got this really great house. And then the narrative consultants come in and say, we're going to paint it lime green and no one's going to buy your fucking house. It could be a great game, right? Like the fundamentals of the game could be good. Like I guess Concord had good gameplay, but the aesthetics were horrible. And that's all these companies do because they don't know anything about programming. They're not real people. They're real people, but they're not talented people. They don't have skills. They're worthless people. All they know how to do is shake you down. If you don't hire us, you hate black people and women. Blah, 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 blah. And I don't care if your president and CEO lets the vampires in. If you go to a company and employer and they start requiring DEI, like meetings, or we're going to program this, we're going to walk. Fucking walk. Now, I understand some of you have finances that require you to suck a little dick, right? You got a mortgage, you got a lease, you got an apartment, you got a car payment, you got kids, you got a wife, you got a husband, whatever. All right? I understand that. But as time goes on, we're having less and less families. We don't have families to support. And as if you're reading my finance books, you'd see, you need to get a micro FU fund. You need to be able to leave at any point in time. Enough of you should be in the position and have savings or have a side gig set up where if someone comes up to you and says, let's do racist, sexist shit, and that's what DEI is. Let's do shit that's going to destroy the product. Let's do political. Let's mix politics with fun. You should be able to say, fuck you, no. And I wish you developers I wish you would realize this. There is no company without you. For once, the axiom or saying employees are our best assets. No, software developers, you're their only asset. You're the ones that make the game go. And I could be wrong. All right. I haven't walked into a video game studio. I don't know what it looks like. But I'm picturing a bunch of you sexless virgin nerd types are just working away because you don't know any better. Programming this video game, and you're led on a leash by a bunch of bitches in HR and DEI and insufferable blue hair Kuantahas who are just running the place. Just fucking running the place, man. I don't know if you're spineless or ballless or you don't know any better or you don't want to get into it. I'm sorry, buddy. You're into it because guess what? I just want to keep my job. I just want to get my paycheck. There won't be a paycheck. Ask Firewalk. Ask Volition. Go look at anyone. I don't know how the movie studios necessarily work, but ask all the actors and actresses that were in She-Hulk and The Acolyte and any other more recent Star Wars movie. They're not working. I mean, think about that. You're in a fucking Disney Star Wars movie 1 year, and 4 years later, like, I hope you saved your money. Honestly, I hope all you actors and actresses saved your fucking money. And now there's no work. And if you pissed it away on Ferraris and whatnot, now you're working. I'm not kidding. I could see it where people who started significant roles in the modern Star Wars flicks, whether it's a movie or TV show, you're working as a barista because you didn't save your money. Because you had no idea that Disney was going to make such absolute shit for you to act in. And by consequence, and unfairly tarnish your reputation as an actor or an actress when you're just following the script, man. I'm very sympathetic to a lot of the actors that played in the Star Wars thing. Right. But For you software developers, look, I was in the same situation. All I wanted to do was be an economist, right? I just wanted to be the analyst. I just wanted to report on financial stuff, do the analysis, run some figures, statistical analysis, all that other stuff. No, my job was to approve bad loans. My job was to do that. And if I didn't, well, then I didn't. I would like, no, I'm doing my job. I would get lectured and berated and all this other stuff. A lot of parallels between the housing bubble back then and what you're facing today. But what I had to realize is that there was no job for me. There was no future. There was no career in the industry because just as oh, what would we call it? Debt and greed and laziness and incompetence. That's inevitably what brought about the financial crisis. Just as that infected the financial industry, the banking industry in the United States, DEI and ESG has infected the video game and movie industry. And your firms will not be around. They might make it. They might survive. They might get some funding, but you will not be in a booming economy, a booming company where there's promotions and growth. It depends. I mean, like Microsoft can keep making all the world's shittiest video games. Disney can keep making all the shittiest movies because they have other divisions that subsidize the money-losing ones. But if you're working for a studio, especially a video game studio that's been contracted out by a larger company to create the video game, and you got a bunch of Madisons and Beckys and diversity hires, and it's ran by a bunch of psychopathic leftist activists, oh, I got to keep my job. No, there is no job. There is no job. And so you might as well say, no, I'm not doing it and fuck off. In the ideal world, if you need me to lead you, you can hire me at Asshole Consulting, all right? The nerds and the software developers would form like a union, all right? And I'm not saying a formal one where you vote on it. You just get, you know who the top talent is. You know who the critical load-bearing employees are. It'd be like that episode from Band of Brothers. Everyone gets around. We're like, we're not serving under Sobel. I think whatever the colonel or major at the time was loses his fucking shit. That happened. Sobel wasn't in charge of him anymore. It's an obscure reference. Maybe you guys don't watch it. But all it would take is for you and the other key critical nerds, again, not a software developer, but in a team of 100, I got to imagine there's like 10 or 20 of you that without you guys, it goes away. You just take over this shit. You just say, you walk into the president and CEO, the chief person, and you give them your entire wish list, right? You say, you're firing all these people. You're getting rid of all these departments. There is no DEI. There's no Becky in HR. Or all of us are walking. And good luck. Good luck. Never, and I'm not saying that you should be arrogant or ballsy or cocky. What I'm stating is that you need to be accurate in assessment of what is true. The product is you guys. You guys are the one that makes the magic happen. It isn't the HR department. It isn't the management department. It isn't Charlie in accounting. And it isn't Becky in inventory. It's the developers. You guys are the one. It's George Lucas, not that worthless joke of a hack of a boomer, witch vile demoness, Kathleen Kennedy. All she does is shit over shit. That's all she does. She just wanted to give her an adult diaper. She'd watch around. Is this a Star Wars thing? Let me shit on it. Ah, look. Catherine Kennedy feces on top of this thing that we had that was great. And they'd be like, and there's going to be like shock. They're going to be, because they're ego driven. Just by the way, in case you didn't know, corporate executive types are ego driven. And they're going to threaten to fire you, You were going to lose your job anyway because it wasn't going to be a company. And you say, you're getting rid of all these people. All of them. And no, we're not changing the white guy to a Hispanic female. No, we're not going to give that special forces operations guy a set of broken legs and put him in a wheelchair. Here's our vision. We're doing it this way. You either take it or fucking leave it. And then you walk. Because they're going to get the fuck out of here. I'm a dude, bro, with a small penis and MBA, bro. And then you just, I don't know, take a vacation, put your phone on mute, maybe have one guy take your calls, represent you while you guys are off, doing whatever, working the other job you lined up. Hopefully you got some fuck you money saved up so you're taking a little bit of a vacay. You're doing some contract work or whatever. They will come back. And keep in mind, you got nothing to lose on this bet because you were going to lose your fucking jobs anyway. And then when Tanner or whatever small prick daddy's trust fund money creating the private equity group that financed you come, well, okay. And you're like, yeah, we're in charge now. Like, no joke. Like, listen, you shut the fuck up. You want a product? Doing it our way. Right. And we're getting our money up. And I mean, because you have all the control right now. You have all the power. We're taking our money up front. You're going to shut the fuck up. We don't want to see another fucking affirmative action hire, let alone some sanctimonious asshole consultant coming in here telling us how to do our job. We're going to create this product and it's going to make money. Right? And you need your money up front because they're going to fire you later. In other words, there's no way to win, right? You're not going to win this one. But at least you got your pride. You made a good video game. You got paid. And then it's like, oh, yeah, I'm associated with that good video game. And then maybe the corporations, like then daddy's money, like the real money, like, oh, shit. They actually made money this time. Because guess what? Tanner McDicksuck and Thaddeus McSmallcock, those guys, they all lose their jobs. They're going to lose their jobs just like you. So you got nothing to lose going in there and playing balls and playing hardball. And just creating your own game or creating the game that you wanted and telling him, get the fuck out. Purge the fucking vampires. Get him the fuck out of the house. There's no one else to do it but you guys. And so the only way I could see this going, because video games take a long time to develop, and the projects that are happening now were in development sometimes 8 years ago. So it's like the video game industry has eaten some bad food, like you got diarrhea. That's what DEI is. And you got to shit it out of your system. You got to cleanse yourself. But going forward, let me just give you a couple solutions for you guys here. Okay. First, you never go on board. Like, just guys, and I wish everyone would do this. There's a company, you're applying for a thing, and they ask you to fill out pronouns. Don't fill in your pronouns. Or just put Trump 2024 or something like that. You don't work for woke companies because they're not sustainable. They're not, and when you're there, they're not going to be fun or tolerable to work at anyway. You're at a company, they get the small dick MBA dude, bro, CEO gets it in his head. They got to hire some hack like Kim Belair to come in and do diversity because I was like, no, I'm not attending, and I'm going to quit if you have that happen here. I'm leaving. Because the number one thing that the real producers in America have is their production. The companies need us more than they need diversity consultants. And there'll be, which is, again, you're going to have to come to the conclusion I came in. Self-employment is the only way. Minimalism and self-employment. But if you're going to insist on going a traditional route where there is a video game developer or a movie studio, you go in. Is it woke shit? Right off the bat. Any woke shit going on here? Or are you actually here to make some good products? No, that's fine. You're hiring minorities and women. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Is the products going to be woke? Do I got to sit through fucking racist, sexist bullshit meetings about, oh, diversity, we hate white men. Is there any of that bullshit that has nothing to fucking do with making the big game or producing the oil or making a car? And if they say yes, you walk. And look, do you know how many problems would be solved if some of you guys just had a little bit of self-respect and said, no, I'm not working for a woke company. No, I'm not working for a politically motivated company. And then these corporations, we can't find employees. I mean, Gen Z did it. They say, you don't pay enough. Fuck off. We can't find anybody. Oh my God. What happened to wages? Oh, it went up. Now $15 an hour. The fight for 15 is what they call it. You got it now. Now they're greedy and 25 to stay alive. Fuck you. Now they do outsource to foreign countries. But just so why is it? Nope, I'm not doing it. Well, we'll outsource. Have outsourcing to second tier talent. You need us more than we need you. So that's one option. All right. The second option, which is what I'm going to say you're going to have to do, is self employment. Right? You're going to have to start your own company. And I understand you may not have economies to scale to make AAA games, but Jesus, the AAA games they're over. They're done. No one's buying, no one's going to, I mean, yeah, people will buy them, but not enough to make them money because they're just such shit. And I don't know. I've heard some stories about single video game programmer could come up with a video game on their own, in a couple of years. I don't know how Linux has become what it is, but can't you do some open source? In other words, you guys are the ones with the talent. How productive could you be if you didn't have to sit in HR meetings, commute, deal with the CEOs and the micro dick MBAs? What if you could you go do your thing? You and your buddies get together. Maybe you have to form a company. But you're gonna, and it's not like, why don't you do it? I'm like, you're gonna have to do it. There's no other way. You're gonna have to go and do your own thing. And going back to option one, where okay, you don't work for the large company, maybe you could go work for a smaller studio. It's kind of where it blends into self-employment, where you may not be the entrepreneur, but your buddy is. You're going to have to start creating your own video games. You're going to have to go independent, and some people are going that way. And then finally, knowing that 3 video game developers, can only achieve so much. I wish, and not to bring politics necessarily into it, but the left started it. I am so sick of browbeating, oh, rah, capitalism, Republicans who don't fucking start companies and like, hey, like God bless Rumble. God bless those guys. At least they did it, And I don't want a video game studio or company to be conservative or libertarian or traditional, but it almost has to be that way. Where it's like, look, we're going to make video games that don't have woke leftist shit. And by definition, we're kind of going to be conservative or libertarian, but not, we're not going to make Bible Quest. Go find the girl in this, spring dress walking through wheat fields and make a bunch of white babies and go worship Christ. That's be an equally bad and boring video game. But you're going to have to find studios that are not political. You're going to have to found companies that are anti-leftist woke shit. We used to just call that fun in our day. Is there an election? I wonder if we could vote. I wonder what is there something coming up right now? But you're going to have to, have standards if you're going to go work large studios. No, we're not doing woke shit. No, I'm not sending woke me. There's no woke. Are you woke? Did I see a diversity and inclusion dick suck sub-page on your website? Bye. See ya, bye. 2, create your own companies, your own video games, smaller independent studios. And then 3, this is where the Republican money comes in. Dude, Elon Musk seems to be the only one who come in and fund anything. Elon Musk can make a shit ton of fucking money if he funded the right people, put some money behind the right people. If there was a large AAA studio that wasn't conservative or part of the Republican Party or some propagandist arm, it was just a fun company. Oh, he makes so much money. But that's kind of out of your control. Whether not leftist, conservative, Republican, rah-rah capitalism, financiers and rich people decide to get their heads out of there. I mean, you got to understand, they're old people too. Right? What's your video game? I don't think they're going to be funding, multi-billion-dollar studios. But Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know what you capitalists need more of an exposure, like a big open market right here for you to capitalize on. How hard is it for you conservative, libertarian, just not Democrat types, you industrious, rah-rah, kappa. What? Don't you see there's a huge need for a video game that has a shit ton of guns and hot chicks and lingerie? What don't you see? How much more? How big of an opening do you need? How many windows of opportunity must I provide? I think Musk is the only guy to do it, not because he's going to sit there and program the code himself, but he's the only one that has the balls to capitalize on it. He's got the capital to do it. Which is why I threw Elon Musk up. Dude, Elon, I know he's so busy with so many things. Dude, I'd buy a fucking I would pay so much money for a Tesla phone, right? No fucking spyware, no fucking bullshit. It just fucking works. I pay so much money for a Tesla phone, a Tesla computer, Elon Musk video game studios. Like, hey, here's a video game that's fun, and there's no woke political horseshit in it. And we dare to have girls with big tits and look good. Oh my God. And you know what? That's out of your control. Well, I'll tell you this right now. Again, you really don't get to decide what you want to do in this. All I want to do was be an economist, man. Nope. The world paid me to do this, and now I make probably, well, not a lot more money, but I make more stable money, more consistent money doing this than trying to go and pull teeth with a bank to say, oh, no, here's my empirical research. This is what's going to happen to the markets. Get the fuck out of here. You don't understand. We need a taxpayer bailout. I didn't get to decide that. I didn't get to decide that I was going to be a ballroom dance instructor. That was quite accidental. That was, oh yeah, maybe I'll do this on the side. I got paid a lot of money to teach dance classes, especially back in the day. Surprising amount of money. You guys, you are the company. The rest of it is fat. How much programming could you get done if you didn't have bosses? If you didn't have HR ladies run around being the legit fucking Nazis they are. I mean, really, the next thing that I can't say it. The only thing keeping HR ladies from growing mustaches themselves and having that funny looking cross with the red, white circle thing going around is that they don't get to kill a certain group of people. They love killing babies. That's cool. We can say that. That's fine. Because that's fun. That's a right. But I mean, really, what's the next step, HR ladies? What are you going to do? Or do you see that would be a step too far? Do you HR gals does your right hand just really want to go up and straight sometimes? Do you want to walk kind of funny? Do you have that compunction? Oh, well, then you just might be a redneck. That's the redneck joke. What if you guys didn't have to deal with that, huh? Well, and then that's just the work. Talk about the creativity. What if you didn't? There was no committee. We need you. Like, think of the people that had to go and deal with the Laura Croft TV show, the new cartoon. Shrink her boobs and make her a lesbian. Like, no joke, really. You're some artist drawing this. Okay, Laura Croft without boobs. Sure. Let's make the Homer car. All right. Like that. I'm not much of one for career satisfaction, right? I think all jobs suck and they all get tedious. They all lose their novelty. But I got to imagine what would give you career satisfaction is making a fun video game. Like the guys who made Armed and Dangerous, old school Xbox game. You could just tell they're having a fucking a fucking fuck ton of fun. They're having a good old time with that. Go play it. Armed and Dangerous, Xbox. It's one of my favorite video games because it's so fun and goofy and stupid. And they make fun of the French. They got away with making fun of the French. There's and you could have that. You could have that. You could create a video games. You could start your own studio. You just, no HR, no MBAs. There's none of this shit. It's just a bunch of nerdy stinking guys who are programming the code and we're having a fun game with a fun thing or unique or creative. We get to create that ourselves. And then I'm not kidding. The low hanging fruit, if you want to make money right now to get the seed capital, create video games down the road, go take Borderlands, right? Take that idea where it's just a bunch of gun corn. You add tiggle bitties and hot chicks that are unlockable. Boom. There's your $1 billion game. You got that money. And then then you could just quit. Yeah, I'm done. No, I got my $50 million share of the profits and I'm retired. Or you start another video game company or another video game. And you don't and for the love of God, you all have to stop listening to the internet, okay? You have to stop. Do you know what percent of, like, if you get a woke mob after you on Twitter, do you know what percent are bots? I mean, there's one person behind it, but there's like hundreds of, well, you IT guys might know that. Ignore that. Twitter. likes and comments are not dollars. That's not money. Those aren't real people. Those a lot of times they're not real people. They're just bots. Ignore them. It's a coup d'etat to the left. How they infiltrated corporations. Like take not the industry we're talking about, but take the I've been listening to this channel called what the hell is it? Sugar Tits. I was, and she's good. She's good. It's a girl. And she takes a look at Victoria's Secrets where she's like, you had one of the most recognizable brand names. You had a global sensation called the Victoria's Secrets Angels, and there was the annual Victoria's Secrets fashion parade where they showed the new lingerie. You had gorgeous women with the big old wings and all that. And everyone looked forward to it. How some people got into the key positions of powers to say, you know what? Fuck that shit. Let's get Megan Rapinoe over here. And we're going to have fat, ugly women and women with skin disorders. And we're going to actually have an amputee. And we're going to have them plus size and disabled. And, you know, not to slam on women who are amputees by any stretch of the imagination. But like, yeah, no, that's not what those shouldn't be lingerie models. No. Oh my God, their sales went down. Like, how? Bravo, leftist activists. Like, that's amazing. You got in there and you actually convinced the investors. That's my thing. Like, you actually got the investors to think to do that. Ubisoft actually got the investors to say, we're going to make a Black Samurai in feudal Japan. We'll play rap music, yo. It's the 1490s Japan shit. What? It's amazing. But, you know, it's the same thing I faced in banking. I'm like, you're going to lend to it. I didn't know credit scores could go in the 300s. They can't. You're going to lend money to a guy with a 390 credit score? And then it wasn't like DEI and shit. It was, we're here to help little people and shit. It's like, he's going to fucking default. You're going to lend it to some entrepreneur dude, bro, who's already into us for $12 million. And he defaulted on the two other banks that were on the participation loan that I heard through the Vine with you. We're going to extend his loan. You understand? Sometimes industries, the heads of industries, can be corrupted. They can, usually through greed and laziness. That was what banking was. But here it happens to be politics. But whatever the case, the real world don't give a shit. People, sorry, sit down, video game industry marketing consultants. This isn't developers. Sorry, everyone. Video game players tend to not want to play overweight, large black women that are ugly on top of it with ridiculous hair colors. I know that's shocking. That may shock you, but we want to play good-looking people, black or not. Right? I would gladly pick up a game that had redheads with big tits. Gladly. We would play that. But that's how mentally, I mean, it's only 1 degree away from being as delusional as fat acceptance. And I would say it's all from the same leftist primordial goo or philosophy. The people who are running your companies believe in something as absurd as fat acceptance. The real world don't give a shit, and it's going to punish the fucking shit out of these products, which it has, and now you're all getting laid off. And so just as I didn't have a choice but to become a ballroom dancing, author writing, book writing, internet podcasting guy, it's different. It's a weird path I took. Just as I really didn't have a say in it, I don't think you software developers have a say because your traditional employers aren't going to be around. They're not tenable. They're mentally ill. They're toxic environment. They're toxic people. They're delusional. None of which works long-term in the real world. And so I don't care if it's Microsoft. Like Microsoft, they go look at what they did with Halo. The person in charge is, stereotype. Stereotype. Large, fat, lesbian, black woman. I'm not slamming on her. I'm just like, she says it on her profile. and she has no video game developing experience. She has UI UX, which isn't a real thing. That's not a real thing. And sure the fuck isn't a thing, because if you ever use Microsoft Outlook, there is no user-friendly interface on that. They literally just hired someone who has no video game developing experience, probably doesn't play video games herself, and the only thing is that she happens to be black, female, and a lesbian. Which, fine, but what does that have to do with video games? There's no reason for any talent right now to be working at the Halo studio. It used to be 343 or Bungie. Now it's called the Halo studio. There's no reason for any video game developer to work there. You're just not going to make video games. I don't know. By the end of it, it might just be like Disco Elysium or additional Tales from the Borderlands, where it's just a book video game. It's just you select. There's no action. There's no video games. It's a story video game. I think that's what Halo will be, because there's going to be no talent. There's going to be video games. There's going to be any talent or game to play. And if you cared, there are hundreds of billions. I guess over the generations, there will be trillions of dollars of current day and future willing money of tomorrow who just love to buy fun video games. Fun video games. And you can look, is it setting up a company? Is it the accounting that intimidates you? That's very easy. I'll help you guys out. I mean, for a percentage. I mean, not a big one, a small one, because I got charged for it. Unless you just want to pay me cash. But that's not that intimidating. It's not that hard, man. To set up an LLC, if you want to even be formal about it. I think if you guys just made your video games, put it on Steam, slap the $45 price tag on it, you're good. There's got to be resources too amongst the video game programming community of people who went off and did that thing. But God, guys, predominantly gals too, don't let this intimidate you. Don't let entrepreneurship and self-employment intimidate you. You don't have a choice, by the way. You better embrace it, because there's no video game career to be had with studios, because they're not studios. They're propagandist machines of mentally ill people. But for our sake, could you make some great stuff in the future? Well, I've given up, right? I went back and I bought some old video games because I finally had time to play them now. After decades of life working hard, I've been binging on video games. And I played all the way through Witcher 3 and the expansion packs. Fucking phenomenal. I played Ghost of Tsushima. Thank you so much for all of you who recommended that game. I just finished up Borderlands 2 with all the expansion packs. Phenomenal. For all you guys, the talent was there. It was beautiful. Beautiful what they did, especially the Dungeons and Dragons RPG expansion pack for Borderlands 2. That was so fucking genius and clever. You don't need the fat and the bloat of HR departments, marketing departments, and entrepreneurs, small needle dick MBA finance dude bros who use daddy's money. You don't need them. Do it yourself. Hey, it's no different than you can go and buy a house, which involves with dealing with contractors to build the house, landscapers, realtors, the county, all that other shit, or you could build it. And sometimes systems are so corrupt that you might as well just build your house yourself. But I don't know how to build a house. Like, yeah, well, neither do they. And it's so inefficient that your house is going to come out cheaper and better than if you go through the traditional route. It's fat you don't need. It's headache you don't need. And so, Saint Elon Musk, we pray unto thee. Could you get one of your guys to head up a video game studio? I know, busy man. Might have some other things going on. I don't know. But for the rest of you video game developers, and look, oh, by the way, if you go to these video game developing, like, for example, I was wondering, like, why are the video games such shit? So I go to the websites of these video game developers, like the people who did Dustborn, they're French. And then a bunch of horrible games that came out have all come out of Montreal, and that's because the Canadian government pays them to. And you look at welcome to our team. It's a bunch of white people, I won't lie, and disproportionately men. All right. So here's the things with the politics and the race and all that traits, I guess, would come into it. I know a lot of you developers, especially you men, are lefties. right? Because you look at that like, oh, this is a soy convention, all right? And you guys have the political desire, politics come ahead of the profits. That's fine. Keep doing what you're doing. Go work for the woke companies and have fun with your shitty fucking career. But for those of you who might be leftists or Democrats, but know to shut the fuck up, like you got some semblance of logic, like we shouldn't be putting politics into video games. Yeah, I vote Democrat. I believe in taxing the rich or whatever, but I don't think we should put that in video games. Like you're saying, all right, or you're a conservative libertarian, or maybe you just don't give a fuck, right? You guys, please, you're gonna have to go. You're the future. All right. You guys are the ones I've been talking to. But for the rest of you who are leftists, like you got them. Oh my God. It's so important that don't bother. I mean, really, you don't have to be there. You can go serve coffee. You could go work in databases. You could do some other computer programming shit. I mean, there's no future unless you want to keep like begging for government money and grant money, and then you're like a nonprofit worker. You never actually succeed at anything, but you get like some token amount of dribbles of money so you can pay your shitty rent. All right. You could have this meager existence, but not a career or profession. Yeah, keep doing that. Keep doing that. But for those of you in the industry that are not political ideologues, you need to get the fuck out and you need to strike out and do your own thing. And so billions, not millions, not tens of millions, not hundreds of millions, billions of people currently today and more billions in the future desperately want that. We'll happily pay for good video games and by association good movies. But it ain't going to happen until you all ditch the unnecessary bloated fat of corporate management and DEI and strike out on your own. Are we going to see this? So there you go. I implore you, Guppy, why don't you make a video game? Because I didn't spend my 20s learning to code. I was an idiot and went into economics and finance. And here I am doing my own thing, just getting by. I mean, I'll gladly buy a game. Gladly. Let's go to the super chats. Thomas V, $10. You wouldn't believe the price I had to pay due to the DEI and gynocentric social order. It affects all industries and companies. I push back as much as I can, but I have to pick my battles. This is where I've said it before. I mean, not so much specifically DEI, but I wrote an article called Let Women Have Corporate America. Because it ain't fun. Corporate America, I don't know if you're living in America, Thomas, but it's not tenable for a career. The future is going to be contractors and self-employment. And this is where you guys just got to like be minimalists and don't agree to work for the devil. Like a classic example, like in accounting, all right? You got the big four, your big four employers of accounting, Deloitte and Touche, Heat Marwick, KPMG, Price Waterhouse, and Ernst & Young. All right, those are your four main ones. It's all woke diversity bullshit. You're going to have that in there. You are better off working at I'm not kidding. You are better off working at H&R Block, getting your EA certification, just opening up your own company, your small little shop, than going and working at they're not tenable. It's not worth it anymore. I wish you guys and you gals or anyone involved who's like, no, I'm not doing DEI. Just say no. Guys, what are they going to do without you? Imagine this in a world. What if white guys grew a pair of balls and just said, no, fuck you, we're not doing DEI. No, I'm not. I'm quitting. Nope, I'm done. I'm not signing up. What would happen? They just outsourced. Okay, fine. Have them outsourced to like shit countries with inferior products, but not same level. And all the problems that come with language translations and communication barriers and corruption. Fine, let them do it. Wait, all you'd have to, just the white guys alone, right? Not other people like, no, this is bullshit. I'm a black dude. I don't want to sit in the DEI meeting. What the fuck is this shit? If just the white guys alone, but if everyone who didn't want to do DEI anymore, it's a lot of people. Said, no, we're not working for you. I'm not attending the meeting. I'm not working for you. I'm not applying for your company. Oh, shit. What would it might be a year. We might have to tighten our belts. Oh, well, I bet you it would go away. And you let them know. Oh, you got DEI? No, I'm not working for you. No, no, fuck you. I'm out of here. I mean, we could even push it so far like, well, you got HR? No, I'm not working for you. Oh, look at all what you Democrats voted for. Free shit. Oh my God. I think I'm going to collect the free shit. Engineer, $2. Don't go into Southwest? Software engineering, a bunch of liberal soy boys. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I would bet what, half of your developers, younger people, are going to be rabid leftists because that's what they were told to be. They don't realize how much that destroys their ability to have a functional industry. But like I said, I'm talking to the other half of your software developers and engineers who aren't, again, you can be a Democrat. You want to help out your fellow neighbor. I have questions about the efficacy of your ideal and well-intended political beliefs, but that's a different discussion. That's not like your whole fucking thing. It's for you normal dudes. Please go develop some normal video games. And if you rabid leftist liberal soy boy video game man, go make your next Dustborn. Go make another one. I don't care. Have fun. Dris Crab, 10 British pounds. Can I get a quick comment on New York TikTokers bad date spares viral debate? So a man didn't pay for a woman's $5 coffee, and now women are mad. I don't think she even asked. He simply didn't offer. Here's what I'm going to say with that, Dris. Why are they filming the date? Why are they filming the moment in time the bill comes due? Those videos are so fake and staged. I know it's not as obvious as, say, professional wrestling, but you got to realize that, the guy gets in the car and takes off, leaving the date there. I'm like, well, who's filming it? Why are they filming this particular interaction between the guy? Like, really? It's all fake. The real story is people got duped by it. Are women mad that men didn't pay for the coffee? I don't care what women think anymore. You're gonna get equality. And you guys, I mean, you could pay for a car. I mean, no, it's equality now. Old hat. That's a them problem. We've squarely put that into. We sent that to the women's department. That's their problem to solve now. We got to go and figure out what kind of hiking shoes do I replace my old shoes with because the tread is gone. These are the questions I want to face in my life. Fraud fighter, $2. I always respond. My pronouns are self-evident. I just be like, no, hey, okay. Are you one of these woke companies where you're just trying to be edgy because you don't have any leadership? I'm out of here. Here's my number. Call me when the political hires you made don't do the product thing you need them to do, and for $300 an hour, I will come in and do the actual work. Smooth Bandit, $5. Make the code fixers company. Charge them through the nose on contract work to fix the code there and company screwed up. Yeah, that's happening. Definitely with Ubisoft. I think there was another company where they had to outsource it. Maybe it was BioWare itself. I don't know that for sure. There were two large studios where you're a video game development company and you hired so many political hires that you can't develop code. Man, did the board just take you over? Like, it's fascinating. I've been on that long time ago. I said, you want to be a contractor because you don't deal with any of the political horse shit, and the political horse shit makes it impossible for the productive employees that do exist in that corporate environment to do the job. And so there's always going to be wrong, error, mistakes. There are always going to be, you want to be Clint Eastwood in a fistful, a few dollars more. You come in, you solve the problems for an egregious fee. Like, oh, and honestly, I would like you. You're sitting there, you're whatever, an accountant, and Target Corporation were to come up to me, you or me. We have problems with our accounting. Target, have you seen how much DEI, gay pride horse shit? And I'm not against gay people at all, but how they were just weaponized and donating to anti-American causes. Look it up. Not even making that shit up. Oh, Target Corporation that hates me, assuming you were a white male. Oh, yeah, I could work on your books for $400 an hour. You know what? They're going to need to pay you. because there's billions of dollars that they fucking mismanaged. And he's like, yeah, it'd be $400. Oh, and I don't sit on meetings. I'm a contractor. I'm a hired gun. The line goes across. It does not go down. You are not my boss, right? I'm a specialist. I come in, I do my job. You pay me, and you get the fuck out of my face. No, I don't do HR meetings. No, I don't do diversity and dick suck inclusion. I come in, I do my job, and I get paid. Captain Malcolm Reynolds. Swear by my pretty blue bonnet. Thomas, $2 health insurance options when self-employed. Yeah, you can find them relatively cheap. They're not, I mean, they're not absurdly cheap, but you can find health insurance. Get catastrophic insurance. There you go. I would even shop around different states and have that be a big determining factor of where I go and live. Another thing about health insurance is don't get fat. Stay in shape. Wear your seatbelt. Wear a helmet. Don't do stupid things. Take your vitamins. Take your vitamins and say your prayers, Hulkamaniacs. The plaintiff, $5. Cappy, if non-woke was popular, we'd already have it. Those of us wanting real video games are a minority today. Most men aren't interested. I disagree. We did have it. Okay. Was hot women with big feathers, the Victoria's Secret's angels, were they ever not popular? No, they were popular. Look, these are activists that successfully infiltrated these companies, got the ears of some key powerful figureheads in these, not figureheads, had the powers of control, levers of control. And they convinced these people to implement these policies. A lot under the threat that they'd be sued and for discrimination if they didn't go with whatever trait, whether it was sex or race or gender or whatever. No, there is a tremendous demand for fun video games that have no politics. There's a tremendous demand for pretty people, male or female, in the video games. There's a tremendous demand for good. Look at what happened with Inside Out 2, a sequel, just a simple, honest cartoon movie. What was it, $1.2 billion? People want the Lincoln Lawyer, which I don't watch TV, but the GF is watching it. She loves it. She's like, oh, it's real good. And I've seen it. I've seen the first season. Like, yeah, that's real good. But most men are interested. I couldn't disagree more. What are they going to do? Chase after girls right now? What if they're going to start a family? Lord Inquisitor, $5. Name me a Western game company where a game is so successful that the company increases employee wages by 12%. I'll wait. Yep. Doesn't happen because they're making politics not fun. Atlas is shrugging. Atlantis is calling. Who is John Galt? The hanger for $5. Froggy, 5,000 Korean won. Cappy, do you think this is the actual end of DEI? We keep saying DEI is destroyed. No. That's clickbait people. Destroyed, shocked. You know, like that's no. We keep saying DEI is destroyed, but they still keep producing shit games and it gets worse. DEI is always going to be here because it's always been here. Let's just put lazy people have always existed since the beginning of time. Marx, you gave it the ideological definition of Marxism or communism. In my day, lazy people would become an environmentalist because they care about the environment. Nonprofits, social sciences, and the social work. And now DEI is just the same thing. It's lazy people, but the paint this time happens to be based on traits, whether it's, again, sex, gender, race, mental disability, all that other shit. All right. It's not destroyed. It's been exposed for what it's always been, lazy Marxist people not wanting to work. And it has been defamed. It has been. This is why, if you pay attention to Sweet Baby Inc., they've scrubbed their website. They are now trying to find affiliations. They reached out to a company called the Powell Group, which isn't a real thing. They're trying to hide. They always try to hide. They're probably, like, again, I've talked about this before. I'm proud of my products. I want people to know these are the books I wrote because they're quality books and the quality of the books sell themselves. I want you people to know what I've done and tell other people about it, right? I want people to tell people about Asshole Consulting because I'm proud of it. It's a good product. It's a good service. DEI, I'm sorry, not DEI. Sweet Baby Inc. and any one of these other companies that are diversity narrative consultants have to hide their product because their product is shit, because it's not a product. It's just them being lazy, wanting easy money. That's all it is. So they have to mask it. Then when it's exposed, they got to hide it. So they have become defamed. They have been exposed. Exposed is a correct word, but destroy. You never destroy human laziness. That's human nature. So it will reform in some other new, under a new banner, under a new coat of paint. Like they literally tried to switch DEI to bridge. Well, they're on top of that now. And it will depend on what the sociological environment is like. It'll be a new thing. It was environmentalism, and then it was carbon footprint. Now it's ESG. Now it's DEI. It'll be something new down the road. But at the end of the day, it will just be lazy people who don't want to work. This latest incarnation is, and we're going to use traits we were born with or we make up to excuse why we don't have to work. You say, well, how do white people get on DEI? Claim mental disability. Claim this is why gender or sexual preference is such a that blew up into 41 different flavors, because now white people can say, oh, I have mental disorder, I need disability. Oh, well, I'm pansexual today, and you discriminate against the pansexual community. It's like, no. Shh, 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 shh. Yeah, there might be pansexual people, but you're not one of them. You're a shill. You're a scam artist. You're hiding behind a trait that you probably don't even have. And you're, by the way, embarrassing people who actually do share that. Like, if you look at Kim Albert, she's a shame to the Black community. It's just shameful. If you don't hire me, you hate Black women. Like, no, no, your product has nothing to do with your race or your gender. You're just a parasite trying to get free money. That's all it is. There's no value to your service. Like if I started selling a product called Cappy's Pubes, I shave off my pubes. I try to say, and Bob, like, hey, you just hate short guys with brown eyes who are white. You hate white people with brown eyes. It's the same cowardice. Like what? And then imagine a bunch of people started doing that, trying to sell white man pubes. Oh, you're not buying our pubes. You just hate white men. It's the same racket. It's like, no, we just don't want grody white man. We don't want anyone's pubes. There is no market for pubes. You won't see it on the commodities index. The price will always be zero. But they still keep producing shit games, and it gets worse. Right, because these people, look, if they keep getting funding, whatever, BlackRock or some dumb guys, you got to remember how much dumb money is out there. Remember all the dumb money we threw in to go fund houses that were overvalued? See how much money is lent to dumb kids who want to major in dumb shit? There's a lot of money out. A lot of rich people who didn't earn it, with a lot of daddy's inherited money, who sort of a hedge fund, bro. And then you just give like a little bit of a financial incentive, like 2% off your interest rate. Not even. Oh, you could have qualified for ESG fund. Oh, do it, bro. Take 100 million and send it to this. Like, Al. Okay. 2% on 100 million is $2 million. But you lost 150 million in the process. Yeah, there's funding. There's dumb sources of funding everywhere. So it will keep on getting funded. But inevitably, the money will run out. Some places will last longer than others. Like, for example, Disney, they got their theme parks. That could keep Disney making woke horse shit for the rest of their days, as long as the theme parks produce $5 billion in profits a year. The movie studio can lose $1 billion, which is pretty much what happened, I think, 2023. But if you're Sony and you got saner heads maybe and said, how much this cost us? $400 million? Or you're just a small company and you don't have the money. You don't have a parent corporation with billions to like fund the woke activists in the co-opted, infected, diseased arm of your whatever comic book studio. If you're just small, you don't have the money, you ran out of money, and now you close up shop. Right Volition, right Firewalk. There's a bunch of other, right, soon to be Ubisoft. So they'll keep making, you look, someone comes up to me, Cappy, We want you. Here's $1 million to write a comic book about Cappy Cap, the greatest guy who ever lived. Aaron Clary, the coolest guy ever. And then it never sold. But then you come to me the next year, like, here's another $1 million. We want a sequel. Like, okay, I mean, that's what happened to Velma. I don't know what the fuck. Who? You damn right I'm going to make it. And it's going to suck. And if there's no attachment to performance, you're still going to fund me? Okay. I'm going to make shitty product all the time. Here, watch what happens to Mandy Kaling or Mindy Kaling, whatever her name is, the gal who did Velma. Go look. Her next product's going to be shit. But she did get funding. She does have funding. Burbshide, $2 Australian. Rip Peanut the Squirrel. Yes. Lord Inquisitor Tibby, $10 generous dollars. Also, another good game I'd recommend is Left 4 Dead 2, a straightforward first-person shooter zombie game where you and 3 other characters go from point A to point B shooting zombies. I've played it, and it was a little repetitive for me. It's a good game, especially by today's standards, but it was a little repetitive for me. McNello, $5 software developer here. Most developers are libertarian leaning. Well, what the fuck are they doing then, McNello? It's all the other departments that are woke, especially in big companies, tech companies. So then why don't they just fucking leave? I don't care. Are they lazy? They don't want to set up the company. They just don't want to. What? Are they worked to death that they don't have time to go look for other stuff? Shout out to Froggy for 5,000 won. Shout out to Romanian TV, who not only addresses these issues on his channel, but also are making his own indie game, unlike the rest of anti-woke creators. Good for that. Good for him. And good for Critical Drinker for coming out with his own movie. I mean, it's a movie, not a video game. But Romanian TV, good for him. And Kirkpatrick, 20 generous dollars. Thank you, Aaron. I read all your books. Please remind men to vote tomorrow. If all men vote, Trump wins. Yes, please all vote. I'll be voting for Trump, even though Trump is not my first choice and I don't like him that much. Yeah. And and remember to vote Republican for your congressional and local and other representatives. Not just go in there and vote for Trump. Please inform yourself of the various propositions or amendments that might be on your local ballot. Spend an hour doing that. My God, I'll tell you this. I voted quite anti-libertarian, or I haven't voted yet, but I'm kind of going against my virtues here a little bit because of more practicality. Because on the ballot here in South Dakota, they're trying to get pot legalized again. Which, yeah, I'm for you smoking. It should be legalized. Until I saw what happened in Denver, I see what pot smokers do, and you're just a bunch of, mostly, not all. Chad's a pot smoker. Nah, you're all a bunch of homeless, unemployed, lazy pieces of shit. I don't want that happening. I don't want to go to Denver. Go to Colorado. So sorry, I've seen what pot smokers do. You're not responsible. You ruin states. No, you're not. I'm voting against it. And then there's an abortion amendment in South Dakota where basically, do you make it legal or not? It's a little more detailed than that, but that's essentially at the end. And I am pro-choice, but women have treated men like such shit in this country. I'm like, nah, fuck you. I'm voting out of spite. I'm going to deny you your abortion. Go to Minnesota. Go hop a fucking bus and go to Minnesota. Kill your babies over there. You would have had me, ladies. You would have had me. But, man, you treat men like shit in this country. And I'm sick of the fucking lip. I'm sick of the attitude. And like, nope. 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 Go somewhere. Go to Colorado. Go to Minnesota. Kill your babies there. And no, I'd be fine. Normally I would be, but and they keep trying to do that pot memorandum or referendum. Like, and guess what? 2 years from now, they're going to try it again. It's like, why? The same effort you put into putting this on, that you could have just gone and moved to Colorado. It's warmer, bigger mountains, more welfare. Just go to Denver, man. I hear the Venezuelans have set up a great community down there. Go down to Denver. All right, that's it. Questions, answers, Asshole Consulting. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.